Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I'll be answering some common questions on open source and Google Season of Docs. I have been getting a lot of DMs on LinkedIn asking a bunch of questions on GSoD. In this video, I will answer some of the most frequently asked questions. This will be purely based on my personal experience. Let's get started. The first question is, how is GSoD useful for you and your career? Does it help in any way? And why would you do Season of Docs in the first place? This kind of emerges from the fact that Google Season of Docs is mainly focused on technical writing, which may or may not involve much coding. So, how much help is that in your resume? A lot of people ask me. I will answer this question from my personal experience. I know that open source is something that we do and we all should be doing with the mindset of giving back to the community. However, I know there are a lot of college students in India who look to do this over the summer, hoping this will be a valuable addition to their resume, in addition to the generous stipend that you receive if you participate. This is definitely a motivator to apply for open source projects, yes. For me, I feel like the experience was extremely helpful. It was the first time I was actively looking into a project and I set up a development environment locally. I faced a lot of issues with version uh, of different frameworks that I was using that were incompatible and understood why it's so important to keep your requirements.txt updated. After that, I was able to build the UI locally from scratch. Simpai was using Docusaurus at the time, so when I made some change, I could test it locally to ensure that it was working correctly, and then I could just upload the screenshots in my pull request itself so that the maintainers didn't have to go through the whole thing and rebuild it from scratch and see if it was working correctly. It saves them some time. Now, to answer the question why GSoD, it helped me understand coding principles and the software development lifecycle. Also, it was a valuable addition to my resume. I feel like in a lot of places, my resume did get shortlisted because I had the Google Season of Docs experience. So, in my case, I feel like it helped a lot. The next question is someone reached out to me and said, I don't have prior technical writing experience. What can I do? If you have done any projects by yourself from scratch, use Medium to document your journey. Even if you have followed a tutorial and created that project, which we all do, we all are constantly learning. There are a few things I'm sure that you had to solve on your own, which weren't in the tutorial. You go to Stack Overflow, you face some new crazy error, then you're debugging it for like 2 hours. And once you solve it, what you can do is you add this to your article so that nobody else faces this issue again. I feel this is what technical writing is about. You are constantly solving new problems and documenting exactly how you did it. I feel like two good quality technical tutorials are good enough. In some GSoD projects, they need you to write some examples on how to use a certain function. That's why good tutorials are important. It will show the reviewers that you are good with explaining code and coming up with good quality examples. So focus on writing two really good Medium articles and please try not to use AI like Gemini to refine your language. We all do that, but technical articles need that human touch. How many samples do I need? This is something that I just answered before. Two very good quality Medium articles or blogs should be sufficient for this. How many organizations should I choose? Choosing a single organization and then there's choosing multiple organizations. So, from my personal experience, I would suggest to choose two projects and maximum three. It is a possibility that among these projects, none of the projects get selected. So it's important to select an organization whose project provides real world value or some good value. Also choose an organization that you genuinely like, where you would like to actively contribute, Even if you don't participate in GSOD, you will enjoy the process this way. It takes time to make good quality contributions to a certain project, going through it, understanding, setting up the development environment, and pushing code. Hence, my suggestion would be to look into issues of maximum two organizations. Even though I personally would just do for one for a certain year. How do I start is one of the most common questions that I get. So choose an open source project first. Select like which we talked about before, how many do you want to choose and like what do you want to see when you're choosing that project. Now you'll explore that project and let's go into like directly into what we need to do. So go to the issues section once you have finished exploring the project. Find the issues which are tagged with the GSOD tag and see if you can come up with a fix for any of these issues. Once you find a suitable issue, comment on it that you're picking it up and you can ask the maintainer to assign that issue to you because you are working on it. Now you will start working on it, and once you're ready with your changes, create a pull request. In the meanwhile, you can always engage with the community, reach out to people on Slack and wherever the mailing list is, in case you have any legit questions. So I mentioned the word legit questions because we'll come to this question, which I got a couple of times, which is how do I maintain a good rapport with the maintainer? It's like I feel like in this slide, you see there's this engage with the community step 4. Do this, but don't overdo it. I get this question like, how do I make a good relationship with the maintainer? And a lot of similar stuff. You don't need to. Your work will speak for itself. If you face issues, try your best to solve them. But if you can't, only then reach out to the discussion forum or mailing list. You shouldn't hesitate, but you should have tried everything you could to solve it before you reach out to someone. Coming to the last question, how to crack GSOD? Again, a question I get a lot. So, GSOD is an open source initiative and you contribute to open source organizations by your own will. It is not something you crack. You do it because you love contributing and helping peers out. This will give you an opportunity to be a part of a really open community. I am grateful that I found a lot of people who helped me a lot throughout my journey. So just focus on solving a real problem and the rest is gonna follow. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.